This video was brought to you by Yamaha Proven Off-Road ATVs and side-by-side vehicles.
Hey Archery Talk, this is Lucas, and today we're going to look at how to install the Hamskea Trinity Hunter Pro arrow rest and the Hamskea Raptor Peep sight into this new PSC Evoke 31 compound bow. Before we really get started, I just wanted to please ask you to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help the channel. Now we'll get back to it in a second. I'll show you the first thing I'll do is arrow placement and setting in a DLoop. So the first thing I really need to do is make sure my bow is level. So I've got my arrow level on here and I check and it's nice and square. And so after that, I'm just trying to figure out where my nocking point is going to be. So I use a little elastic band like this on the string just to hold the arrow in place until I can put in some serving. I'll put my arrow there and try to find these. Looks like this needs to go down a little bit. So this rest has got some micro adjustability once you loosen the bolt in the back. So now I'm just going to drop that arrow rest down a little bit and try to find my center. So I've got my rest height right now, right about where I want it. And I think I like pretty much where my arrow is sitting left to right. Move my elastic up and down to make micro adjusts. And then I just make sure I got my arrow level on there because I know my bow's level. So I check my arrow level, that looks level 2. So now I'm going to tie in some nocking points below and then above that knock. So now I've got my nocking points in there. I like to give a little bit of wiggle room in there so it's not too tight. It's a short bow, so I just want to make sure there's enough room for it to move around without kind of getting caught. So I'm going to take that arrow out of there real quick. And I'm just going to cut and burn all the serving here. And now we'll get ready to tie a DLoop. And with the nocking point set, I'm just going to tie my DLoop. And we'll go to setting up the rest in just a second. Oops, a little tight there. I've been using this kind of 1.6 millimeter BCY braided Spectra loop rope over the last year or so, and I just really like how it holds. It's not great for some trigger style releases with that don't enclose fully, but for the release aids that I use, it works just fine. So I'm just going to pinch that down real quick and tighten it. And now we're ready to set our rest position. So with my D-loop on, I still make sure I've got just a little bit of wiggle room, so when I draw back this shorter bow, I'm not going to get any knock pinch or anything like that. As I briefly touched on before, when you want to change the height of this arrow rest, you just loosen this bolt here, and then you make small changes by twisting, micro adjusting right there. And if you want to do windage adjustment, it's this bolt here you loosen, and then you make your windage adjustments right there. So to set my arrow width, I really just like to lay a flat edge against the riser and kind of see how the arrow compares to it. And I'm hoping they're going to come across parallel, right around the same line. And looking at this one right now, it looks like the arrow has got to come maybe just in a hair. So I'll just come over here and make that small adjustment. And I think I'm pretty straight to start. And now we'll lock in the rest position until we get out to the range and kind of shoot through paper and see what we're looking at. All right, so as this is a limb-driven rest, I'm going to take the cable that comes off of the rest. I'm going to tie it onto the bottom limb using the pad that comes with the rest rather, as a guide. I put that at about 2.5 inches from the end of the limb. And then from here, I'm just going to use 2 half hitches. Just to secure it. New on the Trinity Hunter Pro is this way to secure the cable to get the length you want. So basically there's a little O-ring in here. You pull down to get the amount of tension you want in the launcher arm. Then you just pull the little O-ring out over top. And there, now it's going to be steady in place. My launcher blade's where I want it to be. Now I'm just going to snip off the end of the cord, burn it, and I'm good to go. So right now, I've got the new Hamskea Raptor Peep inside the string. I put my bow in the bow press. I put this in the string. I went and drew my bow back out in the range where it was safe to see if I liked the peep height. I've got the peep in a height that I like, which is, for me, is often about 6.5 inches from the D-loop, from the center of the peep. More, that's a starting point for me anyway, and this one was pretty much right there. And so I'm gonna tie this in before I shoot it using basically a method I've stolen directly from Tim Gillingham. I saw him use this, and I'm probably screwing it up in some way, but that's the way I like it for the hunting style peeps. I use a slightly different method for target peeps, but for hunting bows, this is the one I like. I've never had one move on me, and that's all I'm really looking for. So I think Hamskea was interested in me testing out the Raptor Peep, which is, I think, relatively new product for those guys, because it's got these little it looks like it's like almost like ready to take something that can screw into the middle of it, but it can't. Those are just little rings inside there to help control the light. Oh, sorry, I screwed up this thing. So that is why those are in there. So I'm excited to play with that out in the sun. I'm inside a club right now, so I don't have any sun. But for now, I'm putting 3 kind of half loops around here. I'm gonna do a double on the last one. I think that should be tight enough. And then I'm gonna do a bunch of half hitches on the top left. So I'll probably do 6 half hitches, let's say. Let's see, get that down in there. There's a 1, 5, and 6. We'll call it 6 for now. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite corner. So I went top left, and I'm gonna go bottom right and do the same thing. Go under for that first one so I can tuck in the knot so it doesn't kind of come loose. Do the exact same amount of knots, bring that right in there. There's my first. And so on. And so on, and then I'll get my 6 in, and then I'll cut and burn. So the peep is all fully tied in with the 6 half inches up top and the 6 on the bottom. And the reason I like this method is that it's basically immovable. I mean, I guess if you were hell-bent on moving this peep up or down, you can move it a little bit, but as it stands right now, it is I've never had one slide around on me in all the bows I've been using it on for the last 2 years since I saw Tim's video. So it really does work quite well. The only downside is these are all test bows for me. I have to give these back, and it is complicated to get these knots off the string. That's my only downside for this method. But if you're owning a bow and you're never going to change this until you change your strings, then this method works really well. All right, with the rest installed, the D-loop on, and the peep in, I'm pretty much ready to just go out and start tuning this bow. We'll save that process for another video, but really I just wanted to show you how easy it was to set up the Hamskea Trinity Hunter Pro and install a peep and tie in a D-loop, but just basic initial setup steps for a bow. So I'm gonna go and run it through paper for a little while and see if I can't get a tune going. Until then, Archery Talk, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.